Guys, and welcome to another episode of It's About Time. Tonight we're going to delve into a watch brand that nobody really ever talks about when you talk about affordability for watches. My last episode, I talked to you about the good and bad points of fossil watches in general. And tonight we're actually going to talk about a brand, again, that really nobody really hears of around here, but it's much bigger around the world than it is here in the US. So first off, we're going to go on about what's on the wrist. What's on my wrist tonight is the watch I'm actually going to feature, and this is the brand that we will be unveiling. It's Orient. Orient is a brand, it actually is a Japanese brand, given the name Orient, from the Orient, which is basically from that part of the world. And that's one of the reasons I do like it. The name symbolizes where it's from. I've said on previous episodes, I don't like brands that pretend to be something else, like Christopher Ward pretends to be Swiss when it's really British. And Orient does not have that problem. They have been around for over 50 years, and their watch brand features anywhere from, I'd say, about $40 to $300 is their sweet spot for what they like to feature. And they have all different types of watches, ranging from your average date watch to a day date to chronographs to world timers to anything you can imagine. The coolest watch that I think is in their collection is the one that I bought about a year and a half ago that they still make today, and that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. The watch that we're going to talk about is their dual timer calendar watch, and I'm going to show you this watch and then go through it with you. So I'm going to go around the camera, this way you can see the watch from a better perspective, because it is quite complicated, but it does make perfect sense. So without further ado, let me go around and I can show you exactly what we're talking about here. Okay, basically what you have here, as soon as we get that sucker in focus. Okay, this is a dual timer calendar piece, and if you look at the watch right here, you'll see, number one, it is a dark blue face. When you shine it up to the light, you can see that. And what's unique about this piece is, to the left hand side here, you do have the time. This is an analog time, and this is run by a quartz movement. Okay, so this is, I think it's a Miyota quartz movement that it is running by. On the other side, though, this is a digital time that you would see like in a jump hour watch, and this is run through an automatic movement. That is something that you rarely ever see. If I were to flip this watch around, you will actually get to see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, over to the left hand side, you can see that. Okay, well, now it's reversed, but this would be the right hand side. You could see that automatic movement I've been talking about. There it is, a Japanese movement, since it is a Japanese watch. And on the other side, you do see, if you open up this case, you would see the quartz movement that fuels the other side. So bringing it back around, you can see exactly, okay, what I am talking about right there. Okay, what's really unique about this piece, outside of the dual movements of this watch, which is really hard to do from the get-go, is the fact that Orient found a way to put the calendar of the month on the top and the bottom of the watch, and you can rotate the calendar based on the month that it's in. So basically, if you were to look for today is actually the 13th, you would see, if I can get this really close, let's see here, really tough to do. See if I can give you a little bit more light.
No, it's off. Okay.
There we go. Giving you a little bit more light and bringing this even closer. Okay, you can see the 13th, which is right about here. It falls on a Tuesday, which is where we are right now, March 13th. Of course, Wednesday would be the 14th, so on and so on and so on. On the bottom of the watch, you actually have the rest of the month, okay, which begins at 16. So obviously, for the first 15 days you have up on the top of the watch, the second half of the month is on the bottom of the watch going this way. What's really unique about this piece is the fact that when the month changes and the month of March is gone, all you have to do is actually move this over, and you can see the days change, and this is when April will start. Okay, so April then starts a new month based on April 1st, would be a Sunday. So you would move this over to the Sunday, and then everything aligns with the rest of the month from there on out. And that automatically moves the bottom dial as well. So it really is a very, very unique piece based on how they did it. So again, once again, you do have the quartz movement over here. You have the automatic movement as a digital piece over here, which is like a jump hour piece. And you do have the monthly calendar date, which does change based on the month you're in, and you manually change it, and you're set for the whole month, which is great for people who want to know exactly, business people that have to know exactly what they're doing on the end of the month for a business appointment. If it's 2-3 weeks away, they can just look down on their watch and see, oh yeah, that date is on this. Or it's even great if you have a date later on in the month and you get to see exactly what day it is. This way you don't double book events. So that really is a unique part about this piece. And I thought it was important to bring this watch out tonight because it's just something different where Orient does perpetual calendars, and they do think outside the box. And it's one thing to have one movement in a watch this size. It's another thing to have two movements in a watch this size. This is a little bigger piece than people imagine. This is a 44, okay, which could run a little big on a lot of people's wrist. It doesn't really wear like a 44, it wears more like a 43. But you are going to get a bigger look to it because, again, you have two movements and the calendar date feature. Another nice piece about this watch is the fact that it is 5 ATM. You can bring it in the shower. You can go swimming with it as well. So it is a great piece to take on vacation. It's a great piece really to take anywhere as an everyday piece. And the other nice feature is it does come in a couple different colors. It comes in white, I've seen it in black, and I've seen it in navy. Of course, I did get the navy one. It does come either with a leather strap, or you can take it with the metal strap that comes with it. And the price of it really isn't that bad. The price of it goes anywhere between $180 and $199 for the most part. So for what you're getting, it really is a very unique piece. Orient is one of those unique brands. They're not big and fancy like some of the other brands like Rolex or Bulgari. They just come with a little box like I showed you before with the watch pillow, and here are your booklets inside here. Most of them are in Japanese anyway, so that's really not going to help you, but it's not that fancy. It's not meant to be fancy. It's meant to be an affordable alternative for other brands that you may see all the time, like Seiko, Citizen, Fossil, any of those brands that everybody else would typically wear. And it's a great piece to stand out. I'm always big on that. You know what? Let the watch speak for yourself. You want to have a unique look, then you know what, get something different. And this is a great way to get something different on the watch market that won't cost you several $1,000s. I've shown you watches in the past like Gerald Genta and all those at several $1,000s. That's a lot of money for most people just to buy a watch. And I realize that that's why we're doing some episodes on more of the affordable watches and unique pieces out in the market. This way you do have some options if you do want to stand out for a much cheaper price. And that's the reason why I do highlight Orient in this fashion. So guys, again, thank you for joining me tonight on our little review of the Orient dual timer calendar watch. We do have some exciting episodes coming up for you. My partner in crime should be back with me on some future episodes as well this year, as we'll discuss various topics, as we all know Jared. Also, we're going to have a watch episode soon with my best bud Trippy about allergic reactions to watches and ways you can prevent that. Also, the watchmaker and jeweler Nishan will be in AC with me this year, joining me, as we will do a watch episode on watch dial corrosion and what causes that and how to prevent that as well. And of course, we're going to LBI in July, and we're going throughout the Caribbean this upcoming fall, as well as Bermuda. So we're going to be in a variety of places this year. I'm going to be taking you with me with this show. And if you guys haven't seen it, one of my recent videos on ear infections just went viral this past week. So definitely take a look at that if anybody has had an ear infection. There's some great ways to prevent that as well. So again, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time on another episode of It's About Time.